So something awesome has just arrived today in the post. I think I know what it is. It came quite far, and if it is what I think it is, then the shelf that I usually have behind me will be a little less empty. But yeah, let's check it out. Okay, so this is the package that has arrived. If I turn it over, what I've done, is I've sharpied out the addresses and stuff, but it's come quite far. And if you look, if I just sort of focus on into that bit a bit, it says one plush elephant. So this is a PHP ElePHPant that I'm about to unbox. Okay, let's see if we can open this. I'm going to cut this bit here. I don't want to cut the elephant, of course. Please don't cut the elephant. Please don't cut the elephant. The elephant. Right. Oh, this feels good. This feels good. Feels nice and soft. Right, here we go. The elephant is about to come out of the package. Check that out. It's a ConFoo Web Techno Conference CA ElePHPant, and I'm going to be talking about this in a couple of videos. Look at that, that's amazing, with the PHP logo like that. That's the first ever ElePHPant that I've ever had, and yeah, this is super cool. It's going to go straight on to my desk here. Check that out. That is so cool, so well made as well. But yeah, wow. Right, let's pick that up. And he's going to go on this shelf. So this shelf is what I have on behind me on every video. I'm going to put it by the MailChimp monkey that I got at PHP Southwest. Check that out. That looks awesome.
Now, I want to talk about how I actually came to get that PHP ElePHPant. I didn't actually go to a ConFoo conference, however, I definitely would like to do so in the future. I actually got this through Twitter. I got this through someone called Anna Filina. If you don't know who she is, she's a very powerful speaker in the web development community. I've seen her a couple of times at some conferences. I saw her talk about MySQL performance. That was very good talk. Anna was reaching 4,000 Twitter followers, and she created a raffle on Twitter, sending out 4 of those PHP ElePHPants to the funniest git commit messages on Twitter. Now, I sent a reply back saying setting 0 to 1 due to a customer complaint and setting 1 to 0 due to a customer complaint. And I won one of those PHP ElePHPants. Now, that message that I saw in Git, or those 2 messages that I saw in Git, I did actually see them. I'm not making them up. And I want to talk about why that happened. Let's say, for example, you're in a team of 2 or more developers. The more developers you have, the more likely this problem might arise. Now, let's say the first developer is working on bugs and the second developer is simply working on a project. On a new project. The first developer sees this issue. They either get a customer complaint through a telephone call or an email ticket or what have you, and they find that the immediate fix is to set 0 to 1. So they do that, and then they go on holiday. So the developer now goes on holiday after committing and pushing that fix. The second developer then takes over the other developer's bugs. They put that project that they were dealing with on hold for a few days whilst they can sieve through the backlog that was left by the other developer. And they come across this issue again, but perhaps it's from another customer. They've hit another issue down the road, not the exact same point in the application, but the fix is to set 1 to 0 using the same parameter or return value of a method. And so they do that as an immediate fix to their issue. They then commit that, push that up, and there you go. The other developer comes back off of holiday and then picks up another issue from another customer, and they have to set that original value back from 0 to 1. And you can see how this kind of just rolls and rolls and rolls around. You don't actually fix the core problem. You don't fix the root of the problem, the root cause, because the root cause was never actually found. the fix was only fixing that immediate issue, that one issue that one customer has. Now imagine that application is being used by thousands of people, and the application has a series of parts to it, and they all rely on that value being set to either 0 or 1. So in some cases it's right, and in some cases it's wrong. But the developers didn't have the opportunity perhaps, but they just didn't go and find where that value is being set. If you think of the application like a timeline where the user is going from point A to point B, and somewhere down the line there is something that relies on that value being either 0 or 1. Now, at different points in that application, that perhaps might be getting changed, and so you need to work out why that is being set to 0 or to 1, and what implications that has to the future parts of the application. Usually this means that you have to do a little bit of investigation work, a bit of detective work. You might have to speak to the original programmer if he's still there, or she's still there, to work out why that was actually being set in the first place. The thing is, when you're working in a big team, you can think of an application like a series of jigsaw puzzles that all kind of go together, and everyone is working on their little piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Now, if they're not aware of what is being set in other people's jigsaw pieces, then it does get a little bit of a headache. And this is usually a problem about bad architecture. Maybe there is just not enough understanding of these values and these properties or these class methods or what have you. And so these pieces of the jigsaw puzzle start interfering with one another. So it might be correct in one instance, but it's going to fail in another instance. So just setting 1 to 0 and 0 to 1 and 1 back to 0 and so forth, you're not actually going to solve the problem. You're actually going to make the customers really infuriated, because one day it works and another day it doesn't work. So really what needs to happen is the developers need to take a step back and review the application in its entirety, try and work out where this value is being set, why it's being set, and what depends on that value. What is the implications of changing it to 0 or changing it to 1? It doesn't have to be 0 or 1, of course. It could be any other return value, but it's basically where you've got something that is relying on a value that is changing because of the behavior of the user data. Another place where this can occur is legacy systems. This is where perhaps the user data, or whatever data you're working with, it might be an e-commerce shopping cart, for example, that becomes out of sync for the application. So the actual data in the database doesn't fit very well anymore with the new stuff in the application. So for instance, you might have certain values stored in the database, and then when they get hydrated in perhaps entities or objects in the actual application, those values might not be what the application needs. Okay, so and you need to take a look at the values in that database and see how many are 1, how many are 0. Are any null, and how are you going to handle that? Those developers who immediately fixed those issues, they were probably under a lot of pressure. They were probably just wanting to get the customer happy, okay? And that's basically what we all want to do. We just want to make the end user pleased and happy, and we want to get our bug counts down. But in this particular issue, what's happening is you're not actually solving the bug for everyone, and you're probably creating another bug or another set of issues down the road. So if you gain anything from today's web chat, just remember that the quick fix that you do now might have different consequences down the road, and it might be affecting different users differently. If you haven't done so already, do follow Anna on Twitter. Also, check out her YouTube channel, and she's done a very good YouTube video on Flexible Symfony 4 services. I'm going to provide all the links to these things in the description down below. Thanks ever so much for watching. Happy coding, everyone, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers, bye.